And we're back.
And we are back.
Yes, once again.
Did we ever leave?
Did we ever leave?
No. Good evening, everyone.
We're back live.
Good evening. Welcome to John and John.
Yes.
Live Intuitive Guidance.
VQuest
Monday nights.
VQuest Monday nights. Hi, Rachel. How are you going? Yes, so the usual wrap up, I suppose, is just if you've got any stuff going on, we help to guide you through the guidance, so we don't just do, have you got this or that? We help interpret.
Do you have any messages?
Yeah.
Or...
So if you've got specifics, tell us what's going on in your life, in your health, something like that.
Yep.
And then we can help guide you to what the intuitive message is that your situation or your health thing is trying to tell you. So everything is always perfect. Mm-hmm. Everything is in God's eyes, if you want to call it that, in the universe eyes, everything's perfect. The only problem ever is our way of thinking. Our way of thinking is 180 degrees away from the universe, away from oneness. So
you're like butting heads, right?
Yeah. So there's energy coming through. We've got pain, maybe, which was one of our favorite ones of the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And
fucking fantastic, John.
Yes, that was real heaps of fun for that. I'm glad to have my head back without the axe in it.
Yep.
So yeah. So that when the energy is coming down through the crown chakra, through the chakras. So that's the real you, the infinite being you, the Christ conscious you, whatever you want to call it. As that's coming in, it pushes the other stuff out. It pushes the fake you out, the faux you out. So all the lies we have, anything to do with fear or lack is all fake. It's not real in the universe, so therefore it can't be real. But we can make it real in our life by thinking it. Mm-hmm. So there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad, but thinking it makes it so. Mm-hmm. Is another little one I've heard recently, which I like to add on to that one. That's quite nice. So, yeah. So if you're, ultimately in the universe, there's no right or wrong, no good or bad. But if we think it, we can create it. So anything that man creates is where lack and pain and fear is created. Anything that God or the universe or oneness creates, it doesn't create from that. It only creates from abundance, from evolution, from growth. Yep. That doesn't mean there's no base fears. There's base fears, like we're born with two fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. That's an intrinsic natural fear. That's there to protect us. Every other fear man's created, and through programming, through passing it on from parent to child and so forth, through our DNA, through our past lives, all of this sort of stuff. So
they're crackers, aren't they, John?
Mm-hmm. So we've got
Rachel Roy. Evening, Rachel.
Evening, Rach.
Got a career decision to make. Undecided if I stay in my current company or new beginnings.
Okay, so this is the base tool that we use for everything. Is if it's light, it's right. If it's heavy, it's a lie. So what you do is you just sit there and you get yourself into what we call neutral.
Yep.
So just, use a mantra of, one of my favorite ones is I know nothing, because ultimately I don't know where I am here. I know where the earth is, and I know where the fucking universe is. Not. So if I don't know where the universe is, I don't know where anything is. So everything is just an assumption. So one way to get there is I know nothing, or I wonder what else there is. When you get your mind to neutral, then you ask the question, which feels lighter? Always put a third question in too. So Rachel, when you do it, so think of the new job and go, how does that feel? If you can't feel your energy expand and contract, just watch your posture or watch your head. Does your head fall down? If your shoulders drop a little bit, that's heavy. That's not good for it. That's what you don't want, right? That's limitation. That's fear. And then you think about, say, the new job, the new career, and watch again. If you can feel your energy will expand a bit. And I'm feeling that it is. I think John can confer that on the new job. But also put a third question in that doesn't relate to those, which is, or is there another choice that I can make? And does that feel lighter? No, I don't think so. I'm getting, when I ask those three questions, the one that feels the lightest is the new job. Yeah. Go for the career change. It feels lighter.
It does feel lighter.
And don't expect it to all work out straight away. Like we did. Bazinga, like we did when we came to Melbourne 6 months ago.
On our time.
And we got all the visions and stuff of what was going to happen when we got down here. And, to get us to move all of a sudden, like we did, and drop everything, we we had to make up some ideas that was going to show up in the first 3 months, right? And then it didn't, and then we went through all this crap. So go for the new career. It will work out, but don't expect it to all work out straight away. Sometimes you have to go through a purge or through, the healing. When I do hands-on healing, when I do energy healing, sometimes people will get a massive influx of energy. It'll they'll feel it. It'll move things in their body. But I always warn them. I say, just be careful. The next, 2 to 5 days, you might feel worse. And in the healing world, they call it the healing crisis. So yes, you can get it. You can get the career crisis or the life direction crisis, which is what we've been going through since we got to Melbourne. But it's there to purge all the old ones, so you can start making the new choices from the new you. It definitely feels lighter to go with the new one, and that's for both of us. And the third option, that is the best, because as I said, when we ask if it's light and heavy, I always put a third option in. Or is there something else? Leave that third option really open. Is there another choice that would be better than either of those? But no, the one that feels the lightest out of those questions is the new career.
And you can also then use the same tool as you embark on this new beginning. When you get different opportunities come up, you might have 1 or 2 opportunities, and you might feel in the same situation. I don't know which job I should take. Do the same thing. How does that one feel? How does that one feel? Or is there another one?
So you can watch little things. You can watch your shoulders go back. You can feel that go back. You can actually just hold your hand there, like in a relaxed state on your knee, and just feel if it opens up more or if it closes up more. That is another indication. For some people that can't feel it, just feel, does your hand open up? That's opening up is enlightenment. Does it feel lighter? This is why it's our primary tool. It's a default tool to go to. Is if it feels light, it's right. If it feels heavy, it's a lie, or it's not good. It's a lie, or it's a fear, or it's a doubt, or whatever word you want to use. Okay. All right.
She's very grateful.
You're welcome, Rach. All right. So again, guys, just for the new people that are coming on now, we don't do general guidance. We do specific. If you've got a specific question, and we'll even guide you like we just did with Rachel, if you give us a couple of options. So I'm thinking about this or this or this, and we can tell you. We can use our intuition to tell you which one feels lighter. So if it's a health issue, tell us about your health issue. If it's things that piss you off, tell us about the things that piss you off.
Things that annoy you.
These things that annoy us are there for our guidance too. This our intuitive guidance.
Believe it or not, they're messages too.
Intuition it's to be taught from within. This is so we listen in, and that's how when I focus, when I go to neutral and I let go of everything and I go to what I call interesting point of view, or I know nothing. I just do that until I get to this point of view of just going, I wonder where we are. I wonder what the world is. That'll get you to a neutral space. And then when you ask the question, or somebody asks the question, the answer can come through very clearly. But remember, the ego speaks first, and the ego speaks loudest. So, often we have to ask this question 3 or 4 times because, especially once you learn this technique a little bit, then the ego or the intellect can learn it as well and start using it against you. Make your shoulders go up, make your head go up. It's like, that feels light.
It feels light. It feels light.
Tell your face that.
Tell your face that.
Okay.
Alrighty. Susan Delmage, I think that's how you pronounce it. Hi, John and John. I'm getting arthritis. What can I change to stop this happening?
Okay, so first of all, while I go into the general thing of arthritis, can you just, Susan, give us another message and say where you're getting it, which parts of the body's wrists, knees, hands. But generally, arthritis is negative emotions. It's a build-up. So in a pH balance, there's too much acid, or there's too much yang, not enough yin. So the acid and alkaline, the pH balance is there. But the main thing with arthritis, there's a build-up of negative emotions, uncleared or uncleansed negative emotions. When I do hands-on healing with people, often when I put it on and I just ask for, I call it divine nature, and I just ask their divine nature to come through, the first thing people do is just start bawling their eyes out. And they don't even know what for, because these build-up of negative emotions are there from so long ago, and they've dealt with them on a consciousness level. They've gotten over it as something that happened when they were bloody 9 years old or something. But the emotions weren't released, and those negative emotions build up in the body. So things like resentment, hatred, distrust, things like that. They're negative emotions that build up and they cause arthritis. And now, did she go on to say?
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
I'll keep an eye for it.
So yeah, if you tell us
still there,
if you tell us where
Susan,
it is,
yeah, just drop another
Susan,
message, let us know where it is.
the parts of the body will help us identify what the negative emotions are related to. So things like wrists and ankles, they're really emotional stuff. They're second chakra sort of stuff. Things like your elbows, if it's in the elbows or knees, they're solar plexus, third chakra type stuff. So they've got more to do with anger and the way you're beating up on yourself and the way you talk to yourself.
One of my
You know, if it's wrists and ankles, it's more the navel chakra, which has got to do with your relationships with people, one-on-one relationships. If it's down right into the hands and right into the feet, then we're talking about real base chakra stuff. So that's all tribal stuff. Any grudges or any resentments or anything you've got against groups of people, like the government is a group of people, your family is a group of people,
tribes,
males are a group of people. Your political party is a group of people. There's any group issue you've got is going to show up more in the base chakra areas. So, and this is where the body builds it up. Also, just in general, the arthritis, just look at your pH in your diet. Look at the, acid alkaline. There's too much acid. It's a buildup of acid. But most of that buildup of acid comes from our negative emotions. Because we deal with our thoughts, we might go all this therapy and get all of it, get our thoughts right. But we haven't dealt with our feelings and we haven't dealt with our emotions. And we're still harboring resentment, or we're still harboring, grief or whatever it may be, the negative emotion. And it builds up. It just sits there in the background. It's like a computer program running in the background. It's not on the screen, but it's taken up. It's taken up the hard drive space.
Okay. I'm just going to scan through to Julie. Julie, should I continue to pursue my art, or should I go back to my healing work?
Generally, first of all, getting no on that as a question. Wrong question.
Wrong question.
I'm getting both, right? You need to do both. But ask, is there a third option? So how did she word it again? Sorry.
Should I continue to pursue my art, or should I go back to my healing work?
No, yeah, okay. So maybe move forward and do both is what I'm getting. Move forward and do both. Now there's healing art. There's a lot of
I was kind of getting that too. Combine the two is what I was kind of getting.
Yeah. So you can use your healing work and use your art. And
what kind of art do you do, Julie?
Use them both together is what I'm getting for that. It's like and also art. There's a third option as well, which I'm not quite getting clearly on now, but there's a third option. So think of combining your art and your healing. So it could be putting your healing energy into your art. It could be teaching other people art and doing art healing, which is a big modality out there for healers. There's a lot of art healing stuff. Could be that, and it could be doing it silently.
She paints mandalas. That's probably what I'm getting a mixture of.
So
you can also put your energy into your art,
which she would do if she does.
Mandalas, but maybe like more consciously, and
maybe do it. Maybe do it specifically for people. So do a healing mandalas for people and use your healing. Tune into your healing. I'm getting
a reference to people that like create crystal grids for specific things. It almost feels like you could paint the mandalas in a similar way for particular people.
So
as part of your healing.
You could also do it on the person. Something else that's coming up. Like when they do henna painting and that, you could do mandalas on people for their healing. So, it doesn't have to be with henna, but, that people paint on themselves in all sorts of ways these days. I don't know. But I see a lot of it. They go out with the face paintings and stuff, but you could do, it's just there's a strong pull to doing both, doing your healing and your artwork, but combine them, do healing mandalas, and offer them to people to paint like, what do you call it? Specific ones just for that person and for their situation.
Yeah.
So that's.
So if you work, she says she's working 3 casual jobs in admin. Maybe make the choice. Start by making the choice that you want to do more of your healing work.
Yeah.
And rather than sort of penduluming from I don't have enough time to do my healing work, or I don't have enough money if I do my healing work. Start just by choosing. Yeah. This is what I universe. This is what I want. Thank you.
So, and make that. And when you choose, it's got to be a command, and you got to expect the universe to deliver. Okay, I now I'm going to start making money out of this. Universe, show me how.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Just choose to do it and be that. Embody that. As John, to elaborate a bit more on what John's saying, you've got to be that person in yourself, in your energy. You've got to vibrate that you're a highly paid healing artist. The whatever picture you want to do, and start to try and talk like that, walk like that, breathe like that. That's what'll bring it faster. And just keep asking for signs. As you ask for a sign, whenever you ask for a sign, expect it to show up straight away. Give me a sign. What should I do? Which I walked out this morning. We've got the new shop that we're opening in Prahran in Melbourne in 4 weeks, and there's a few things we need, and there was a bit of a cash flow issue this week, and I said okay, and I walked out into we live in the high rise, as you probably can see from behind us, and I walked outside and I just thought about asking for a sign, and I was in the lift lobby and there's nothing in there, it's just an empty hall.
Empty hall with 2 lifts. Two lifts, right? 2 lifts.
I pressed the button and said, give me a sign, and then it's like, I'm standing there going, now I'm going to have to look out. When I get outside, I'm going to have to keep my eyes open and see what shows up. If a crow shows up, I know what that means. And it's like, I'm standing there going, fuck, this lift's taking a while.
It's normally pretty quick, right?
It's really, 30 seconds. These lifts are pretty quick here. And it's like, must have taken like nearly 3 minutes or something. I'm like, oh, is that my sign? Wait. Wait. Be patient. And it's like, as soon as I got it, I just felt that lightness and just went, oh yeah, okay, cool.
And as we've been doing is start doing the things that you can do now, with your healing business.
Yeah.
There's no need to wait until I'll do that when I have this, or I'll wait until that turns up.
Yeah.
That's a lot about what we're
So Melissa Islands is asking, hi guys, any advice for remote healing? Can you elaborate a bit more on that? Do you want it or do you want to do it? I do a lot of remote healing. It's really effective on people that I've previously worked on. It's very effective on people who are receptive to it as well. There's lots of different ways. There's lots of different techniques. I clear entities. Like my son's in Queensland, and he'll message me. He's had a big night out and he's picked up some entities or something, and he'll just say, "Hey, Dad," we call them hitchhikers. We've got a hitchhiker, and then as soon as he asks and the question's there and the person's open, the only way you can do remote healing, or the only way you can do any healing, is through permission. So the person's actually got to ask, and they've got to mean it when they ask. So yeah, if you can elaborate. If you want the distant healing, or
the only thing, she did post a comment further down, which was I'm struggling to get a start. So maybe that means that Melissa's wanting to do remote healing. Struggling to get a start.
Yeah.
Anyway, give us a little bit more information.
Okay. All right. So distant healing is a tough one. You've got to get a bit of a reputation up. It's still one that I do rarely. I advertise it and stuff, but it's really only the people I've worked on before, or through word of mouth. You're better off doing face-to-face healings first. That builds your reputation, because people. It is a trust thing.
Melissa says she's just found it's her purpose.
Yeah. So one of the first books I read, my first miracle healing, was for a lady named Betty Shine. This is back when I was a wharfie.
Betty Shine? Shine as in Shine Bright?
Yeah,
Betty,
S-H-I-N-E. S-H-I-N-E. She wrote a book called Mind to Mind, M-I-N-D to M-I-N-D. And that was
sounds like a good place to start.
It's a really good book. So check that one out. Betty Shine, Mind to Mind, or Mind Magic. There was two of them. I can't remember which was the first one. But I was in hospital, had a rod and screws in that removed out of my leg. The pain was incredible, and she talked about this cord. The technique, whatever technique works best for you, is the easiest way to do it. It's like, for me, I just visualize the person. I do the same thing as if they're standing in front of me. I use my hands a lot to feel the energy, and I just imagine them, and I shrink them down to about this big, so I don't have to get up off the chair and do it like I do when they're in the room. Yeah. And I just shrink them down, and I just pick up, like say my son, I pick him up in Queensland, then I just imagine him here, and I just pull his energy, and I just put a little model of him here in front of me, and I just do the same thing that I would do and move the energy around that I would when I'm face to face. That works for me, because that's where I get most of my sensitivity in my hands. But there is as many different techniques as there are,
for me, not to the extent of energy healing, but it's so far as in a child. So when I can look at someone, either here or through the internet, and I get basically an image or a picture of their inner child and how their inner child's sitting or lying or screaming or carrying on.
Yeah.
So it's really what works for you.
So one of the things that Susan's asking there about the negative emotions, right? So just read that one out, please.
So this was Susan that was asking about the arthritis. So she's like, she totally agrees. What tools do I use to heal negative emotions?
Now it's less tools. The tools part is just ask for forgiveness, right? That's the tool. But it's just identifying it. It's feeling it. So I go back through. I use TV shows half the time. Something comes up in a TV show and it brings up a memory of, an old relationship or an old friendship or business partner or something I had, and I go, oh, what's that feeling? Like, I'm over it here, but I can still get this feeling like I had in my leg and in my hip from the motorbike accident. I had resentment still built up, and I said, I can still feel a bit of resentment there. And then I just focus on where I can feel the resentment. Now, most of the negative emotions you'll find in the lower 3 chakras, not all of them, but most of them will be there. So you feel where they are in the body and go, okay, so what's that pain? Is that, and just go through a few different emotions. You'll see what, resentment, jealousy, envy, mistrust, hatred, I've forgiven that person on a conscious level, but I still hate them. It's like you can feel it. You just got to be brutally honest with yourself and go, I've really forgiven that person. I understand, but I fucking hate him. So that shows.
I don't know why.
I don't know why, because I've done fucking 6 years of therapy on this thing, and I can still feel the hatred. It's like, but I don't consciously, I don't in my head. The emotions are still locked in there. So, and then I say, where is that hatred? Oh, that hatred's there in the side of the liver. All right, let's deal with that. There's a bit of an issue there. There's a bit of a hardness or a tightness in that particular area of the body, or the anger usually gets locked up around the knees or elbows. So you just go, am I still angry at that situation? Am I angry at God? Am I pissed off at God? My resentment that I had built up in the right side of me to my life circumstances was actually, when I tracked it back, I was angry at God because I used to say it was God punished me for doing the wrong thing to try and get me on the right track. I didn't mean that, but I'd said that enough in the filters in the back of my head that it came out that way.
What's the name of that book?
Mind to Mind.
Yep.
By Betty Shine.
Betty Shine.
B-E-T-T-Y.
B-E-T-T.
And so, so the resentment, so you can just go straight to forgiveness and go, okay, just ask the question. So put your hand on your heart, ask your heart, because that's the courage. The three, we deal with the threefold flame: thoughts, words, and actions, wisdom, power, and love. Thoughts, words, and actions is a simple way of seeing it. You can see your actions, you can see your movement. You move out of resentment, you move with stiffness. These things show you the emotions. We can help you. We can do, I can do readings and that over the phone, or we can do like live on this thing, whatever it's called, Zoom.
On Zoom. On Facebook.
On this digital stuff, this digital stuff over here.
On this shit.
We can do it on that. There's not a lot. I just ask for the healing. I go, okay, so show me the emotion. And then just keep your eyes open. So which emotion, and then you'll see it, so which emotion do I need to release? And then you'll walk down the street, and if it's anger, you'll see every second, third person fucking, fuck you, It's like everyone driving down the street, road rage or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's resentment, it'll show up in a movie. You'll see it. It'll just stand out a bit more to you. If there's, I resent that. I resent that person doing that. You'll hear it in conversations. You'll be sitting here. There'll be someone at the table next to you in a restaurant, and you'll hear them say these words. And then just say, okay, where do I have that? If they stand out to you, these words or these actions, whether it's in a movie, whether it's people around you, that's the ones you need to clear.
Yeah.
And just go, okay, so I keep hearing the word resentment, or, I keep seeing angry people. So where's my anger? I've dealt with it here, but it must be in me. You just say it must be because I keep noticing it. This is the main tool we have. We call it, if it animates you, it's in you, but it's really, if you see it, this is what we say, tell us what pisses you off, tell us what annoys you, because that's your intuition, that's your soul, that's your Christ self guiding you to what you need to let go of, what you need to heal. And to heal it and let go of it, you just go, okay, once you identify it, you just ask the universe, ask forgiveness. Help me forgive this. Help me forgive this resentment. I don't know how. I'm fucking having a tough time, but I really want to. And it's got to be genuine. And you got to expect the healing happens instantly. I can't I can't say this enough. As soon as you are genuine, as soon as you are it, you know, it takes a surrender point. You know, sometimes most
Yeah.
people don't do it. You know, I most of my healings in the early days, I just go to people, is your life over? Did your life end today? Did you lose your family and fucking your job and your money and everything? And so if not, well, probably not going to get too much out of this, you know. So it's like, you know, it's an exaggeration and a joke, but it's true. The more people don't give up to this stuff generally until it's the last option.
Breaking point,
So you got to find a way to surrender and go, okay, yeah, life's pretty good, but this shit is fucking annoying me and it's not good enough. Let me surrender to a new way, to a new idea. And it's like, you've got to open up. There's dimensions, like each of the chakras, you know, there's 13 dimensions. There's 21 that I've tapped into, you know. Once you hit 13 to 21, that's where the ascended masters are, and you're talking a whole fucking whole lot of shit that the mind could not comprehend whatsoever. I can't.
And they talk like we do.
I can't even put it into words, right? And they will talk with you and everything you can say. And it's just, you know, the dimension's here. It's not, you know, the afterlife is here. It's like, it's a frequency. You know, in quantum physics now, they just talk frequencies and dimensions. It's the same thing. It's not that you know, woohoo, woo-woo now.
Janine, feeling stuck. Give us a little bit more information.
Yeah.
Your name jumped out at me. So
tell us what you're feeling stuck with. What areas of your life, what aspects. Just give us a bit of detail. Like you know, I feel stuck. I can't get this job. Can't, you know, this and that, or whatever. You know, it's like,
she came back with my own bad choices bring me down. So
yeah, well, that's of course they will, because they're not your own bad choices. So this is the subconscious. The subconscious mind hears our words, turns our feelings into words, and turns our emotions into words as well. So the subconscious mind picks up everything, and the subconscious mind is what the law of attraction works on. Don't give a shit what your conscious mind thinks. If your subconscious mind is not in line with it, you're going to draw in that. And for most of us, you know, our words, you know, our words and our actions are way more in accordance with the law of attraction than our thoughts ever will be. There is a time that you get when they're equal, and there is a time, I assume later on, if you become an ascended master, when you can just do it purely from thought. But for the moment, you're better off working on your actions and your words. Change them. It's like, you know, what seem like your own bad choices, you know, calling them bad choices is a bigger part of the problem. You know, so, you know, then they're not necessarily bad choices. If you're programmed, if you've had all this subconscious programming from childhood, that your conscious mind is choosing this, I'm choosing to eat well, and I fucking end up at McDonald's every day, right? So that's not really a choice. It is a choice. You can use your willpower and you can exert it over that, but it's actually a program. And so your choice was to allow the program in, or allow yourself not to change the program. So we choose everything. You know, I chose the motorbike accident, but I didn't choose to have a fucking get hit head on by a car and get my body smashed to pieces. But I chose not to listen, because 2 lights before that, I got an image in my head of someone running through the red light and hit me on the motorbike, and I had a feeling to go straight ahead instead of go left. I didn't follow that feeling, right? Because I wrote it off as something silly. That was my choice. It was not to listen to my intuition, not to listen to my gut. You know, it was trying to warn me, and then I thought that was punishment from God because I was 23. You know, it's like, and you know, then I turned that into resentment for the next 20 odd years. So it's your wording. You know, so how do I change these choices? The choices that you're making, most of our choices are coming from our subconscious, from our programming. There's stuff that we chose to allow to happen.
You know, and even like so Jenny's come back saying life choices. So even by saying or associating your life choices to being bad choices, that's every single choice in your life, right? So therefore, if you're seeing your life choices as bad choices, you'll never see a good choice, right? You'll never. These are what we call filters, right? So you've got this, like, think of like when you post on Instagram and you can put different shades on it, right? You've got all these filter shades of choices in your life that you can't see the good choices because all you're seeing are the bad choices, right?
So, you know, you put those filters on like they do on Instagram, and you know, you've got these big black eyes, right? You can't even see the color. You've got blue eyes, but on every photo you've got, because you've got these filters on, you only see black eyes. So when you're saying all my life choices, when you say words like this, it's like, so change it a little bit. So what we do to change these filters is say, it seems like all my choices. It seems like they're my choices. Maybe they're subconscious choices. Maybe they're patterns that are driving me, that of stuff that I allowed to happen, that I haven't done anything about changing. So it's not the choices you're making, it's the choices you're not making to change that are the problem. It's the choices you're not making to get rid of the belief systems. That's my belief, Everyone says this, you go, I get this one so much. It's like, they say, I've always believed that. I'm like, you haven't always fucking believed it. No one's always believed anything, at least in this life anyway. I'm not going to go into past lives and soul level, but you didn't have any beliefs when you were born. You had two basic fears, the fear of loud noise and the fear of falling. That was it. That was your only belief. That was all of us that applies to. Everything else, we've bought it. It's been programmed into us by our parents, by our society, by the media, by school, by our friends. They're all choices, but big innovation there. They're all choices that we make, right? So they're, that's where we choose. But now what's happening, none of this stuff that's happening for you is your choice. They're patterns, they're habits. That's where you're going to change the filters. And this is where the choice is now, to start changing those filters. Stop blaming yourself and stop blaming the patterns or habits. Don't be careful of that one, because that's what a lot of people do. Then they blame the programs and they blame the patterns, and don't blame. The blame is the problem. You're blaming. Stop blaming and start choosing. Go, okay, I really need to start taking control of my life and stop being a result, stop being a pinball, and start being a self-guided missile. I'm sick of being a pinball bouncing off everyone else's choices and decisions. I'm going to be a self-guided missile and create explosions of desires and fun and joy. But that takes a concerted effort. We help to reprogram ourselves. We've got to look at our speech. We've got to listen to it. Any of the definite words, any of the fixed words are all judgments. Everybody. These words show up and they show us our filters. They're really, really powerful when we learn how to use them, and we can undo them so quickly. We can undo 20, 30 years of programming just by catching one of these words.
Rachel Pratt, I've been recovering from a road accident for nearly a year. I feel lost, need guidance to motivate. Right.
So I've been recovering for nearly a year. Again, I think this feels like a big one, Rach. I think it's something we'd have to do one-on-one. So I will, I'll give you there we go. If you want, I'll give you a free one-on-one session this week for half an hour. So we'll put a comment in there, John, or, just link it to our thing, because the motivation, especially after an accident, that we've got to look at the filters. We're going to look at all these things that you've said to start undoing them. So, congratulations, you got a free reading out of that, because we jumped on it a bit early. So, we generally, on this live, we generally cover the ones that are smaller, the ones that are general, that can apply to a lot of people. Because, this stuff, a lot of people go on here and we go, when I used to have lots of readers in my shop, I would ban some people from coming for readings, because they would just come all the time and they weren't listening to it and they weren't taking it in depth. They were reading junkies, And one lady, she'd come back every 2 weeks. I told her no more. I said, if you've got at least, no more than 6 weeks between reading, after the first, don't get me wrong, people who haven't had them, you might go for a little stage at the beginning where you get, 6 or 8 over a couple of months or whatever. But after you've had a few and you've got a bit of a belief in it, then you should not be getting readings any more than once every 6 weeks to 6 months. Otherwise, you're not taking the information on. You're just looking for your answer that you want to hear, and you're just writing the rest off.
Okay, here's a cracker. Lee Argent, what do you suggest for finding the right life partner?
Being the right
life partner. Funnily enough,
we have got a little video on.
We do have a video on YouTube. Fuck you, John.
This is what I caught John with in the early days. I caught him off guard, and we did this video about finding your partner.
Go and check it out. Go to our YouTube channel. The link's at the top.
What's it called?
It was called Finding Your Right Partner.
Yeah, finding your right partner.
Finding your right partner.
So basically, what you've got to do is
it was a tool.
Look at the qualities you want. You can do this like a little game. You can use your imagination and build like a little 3D version of that person, of your perfect partner. Build their qualities. Remember, put their qualities in, put their nature in. You can put their looks and their external stuff in as well, but really put qualities and put their inner self a lot more in there. And then you can do it, and you can build another little person beside it, another little what do they call them? The clone,
mannequin,
a little blank clone of yourself, and match your qualities
little
up to
Princess
those.
Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm your only hope.
In
You know, one of those little
those
hologram.
Yeah, little holograms.
Hologram.
So, and see what you do to match. Like if he has, if he's spirited, you want to be spirited. So work on your spiritedness. If he's, if he's calm and generous, then work on your calm and generous. It doesn't have to be in the same areas, right? He could be generous with money. You could have a generosity of spirit. But the quality of generosity is there, or the quality of calmness is there. Whatever we're looking for externally in our partner, we want in ourselves. And once you start to go, okay, so yep, I'll have that, and now let me match up to that. A lot of people get offended and go, oh, he wouldn't judge me. It's like, no, he wouldn't judge you, but he wouldn't be with you either. It's not a judgment to say, he wants someone to match him. And besides, I did this class for quite a while, and people, especially a few women got really offended and said, I said, I get them to build this perfect man. And then I say, would that man pick you as you are right now? And they're like, well, he wouldn't judge. I said, yeah, he wouldn't judge, but he's not going to go and pick someone who's not a match to him. So, and besides, you building is your imagination. And so it's like, so then just start matching the qualities up. Okay, I need to work on my peacefulness, or I need to work on my confidence. Whatever they got, you want it in you. So, all right,
cool. Where are we? Just going back through the next, see if I missed anyone. I'll do that one.
All right.
Hello, Debbie. Welcome.
Hi, Debbie.
Shazza. What's that?
Shazza,
I have a TAC case tomorrow. It's been over 6 years. Can you see anything for me, please?
Again, this is sort of...
don't really do those.
Yeah, we don't really do those sorts of ones, Shaz. If you've got a few more details, if you've got some specifics about it and how to handle it, one thing I would say is just go to bed and start visualizing what you want, visualizing closure and a win-win, right? So you want it to be a win-win. Even if you want to win the case, it's got to be a win-win for it to work, for the law of attraction to work, and for the power of the universe to get on your side. You've got to see it as a win-win. So even if you win financially, they win because they learn, they learn gracefully the lesson they need to learn, or something else. I don't know what the TAC case is, but it's like you've got to go in there expecting the best for you and asking for a win-win. Ask for the result to come. One of the ones I do, so I don't mess around with karma and shit too much, I say, bring me the best perfect result for me according to my divine plan or my escrow, through grace in perfect ways, or through grace in miraculous ways. So ask for the results to come through with grace in miraculous ways. Okay.
Debbie, might need a bit more information on this one, Debbie.
Yeah.
I'm struggling at my work at the moment. I don't know what to do. What aspects of it? Is it the job itself? Yeah. Are there components of it? Is it people? Is it hours? Is it
one of the things you're doing is struggling, Deb.
Yeah.
So Debbie, you're struggling, and if you're struggling outside, you're struggling inside. So you're into what you do know what to do, and you're too fucking scared to do it. Right? That's where I let my little smart ass come out of it here. And I get this one quite often. You know exactly what to do, and you're scared to do it because you don't know if it'll work, But you do know what won't work, and what won't work is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So you do know what to do. You're struggling with the courage to do it. You're struggling with the willpower. You're struggling with the fear, basically. So you know what to do. You need to start making some changes, but don't necessarily throw out all the baby with the bathwater. Just agree to make a change. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to start making changes. I'm going to go in. I'm not going to respond the same way. I'm not going to take the same shit that I normally take. I'm going to go in, and if it's time to ask for more money, I'll ask for more money. But I don't necessarily. A lot of people do this, and they get to this courage point, and then they just fucking quit their job and just throw everything out, and that'll still work eventually. But you might have to live on the street for a little while, so you don't necessarily want to do that.
So she's I'm guessing it's a family business. The boss passed away, and the family are fighting. She's stuck in the middle. Yeah,
we'll just pull back. That's exactly it. Stop struggling stop trying to make them happy. Stop trying to just pull back. It's not your job.
Yep.
If you're stuck in the middle, that's because you're trying to help.
Yeah.
Stop trying to fucking help. It's
Trying to
not your
fix it.
job. It's noble. It's a beautiful thing to want to help, but it's not intelligent. It's not wise. The wise person pulls back and makes the space and the offering when the other person, because if you try and help people, they might say they're wanting help, but you can feel they're not really listening to your help. That's why you're struggling. Because they say, what do you think about this? And you tell them, you don't even get to finish telling them. And then it's saying, oh, but that won't work because I've got to do this. And it's like, well, what the fuck did you ask me for?
Yeah.
You didn't even listen to my answer.
The other thing I'm getting through is maybe you kind of feel like you don't want to be in the middle, but you don't have the courage, or you're struggling to tell them that. Just agree. Try and get yourself to a place where you can just agree to have the conversation.
Or to work out how to have
or to work out how to have the conversation. don't push yourself to agree to do it.
Yeah.
But just sort of get yourself to go to that position. Okay. All right. I don't know how, and whatever it'll take.
Yeah.
I'm
going to start working out how to say
this to them. Yeah. That can be enough sometimes. Yeah. Even just getting yourself to that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. So just agree to start dealing with it. Don't have to. So you're going to work out how to start to stop, start to stop putting myself in the middle, or start to stop getting struggling with trying to answer these. Because when somebody's passed away and when they're fighting, most of what they're fighting about is not relevant. And you get caught in, it's like when you've got a mate and his girlfriend that you've been close with, and they split up, and you get on one side or the other, and you try and back your mate up and go, yeah, she's a bitch and that, and they get back together, and then they hate you and they can't talk to you anymore. He didn't mean it. And these people, especially if they're fighting, a lot of it is not what they mean. What they're trying to do is release the last 30 years of shit that they've built up in the family. So getting in the middle of that's just a quagmire.
I'm kidding. We live in Melbourne, and the AFL is the big sport here. And what I'm getting is like the referee just going, time out, blowing the whistle, time out. So maybe picture that in your head, just going, no, fuck this, I'm going time out. I don't know how. But
time out on yourself, not on them. So time out on trying to help.
Trying to be struggling.
Time out on being in the middle of it. Just pull back. Say, okay, sorry guys, I really like to help, but I can't. I don't know what. This is doing my head in, and I want to help, but I just can't. I've got. Other shit
and it helps to put it on yourself. I don't know how to help you or this situation, whatever. So you're say, I'm struggling. I don't know how to explain it.
So say you feel it. Say exactly what you're saying here. You're struggling and you feel like you're stuck in the middle.
I feel like I'm stuck in the middle.
There you go. There's your answer. You just start with that. If they don't like that, just say, look, I've got to pull back here. Sorry, I would really like to help. But time out yourself. Time out yourself and say, look, guys, I'm struggling here. I'm feeling stuck in the middle. I want to help, but I just can't. I'm on overload and I'm trying to do my job. So, look, I'm just going to have to pull back. But just agree to do that with inside yourself. Like John said before, just agree to do that. Yeah. Just say, look, I'm going to, try and do that. If I don't get it right the first time, I'll go again and I'll go again. But just agreeing with yourself to do that. Agree tonight to start doing that, to build the courage up to do that. To G yourself up.
Otherwise, you're just penduluming from aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting in that struggle.
So you're stuck and then you struggle.
And you're stuck and you're struggling.
You're struggling with the stuff that's not yours to struggle with. That's the main problem.
Yeah. So it starts with
not your fucking not
conscious
your
choice. You need to make a conscious choice.
It's not your job. One of the things I had to, one of my affirmations that I used to run for about 3 months, about 400 times a day, I'd have to say it, is I resign and quit as commander-in-chief of the whole fucking universe and everyone else's problems, and I had to do that over and over again inside myself all day. So these things, it sounds like you're a real helper here. That's your problem. That's what you're stuck in. You're stuck in trying to help people. You haven't learned how to qualify people that really need the help. And there's ways of qualifying in that. But I had to do this 2 years ago and pull back from helping all of my friends because I just did it too much. And it's like, it was hard. It's an addiction, right? It's a bigger addiction than drug addiction, helping. And it's like, it's really tough. And it's like, so, you got to just promise yourself, okay, and I'm going to pull back, and that's when I did. And I said, okay, the only way I'm going to qualify people and say, I'll give them a little bit of advice, right? I'll give them one little drop of my fucking 20,000 litres that I want to give them. I'll give them 5 mils of the 20,000 litres I wish to give them.
Turn the faucet off, enough for one drop to come out.
And then if they drink that drop and then they come back and they tell me, so John here was the one that did the most. And that's how we began all this. I sort of, told him little bits. He went away, he did it, he came back, told me it worked, and wanted more. And it was hard. Like I really had to put myself in a fucking straitjacket for most of my friends, because I was just the go-to man for everyone. And, you know, because I loved it, but it was draining me and it was screwing my life up. And it wasn't really helping most of them because they weren't asking for it. I would catch myself getting halfway through. They'd ask me for help. They'd ask me for advice. I'd get halfway through it and they'd cut me off and tell me why that won't work. Or they would throw a new question in when they haven't even listened to the two classic signs. That,
or they come back again a week later and ask you the same fucking question.
And they say, which they can do, but as long as they tell you, well, I started doing it, and then it didn't work, right? And so they can throw the same question at you, as long as they're chipping away at it, as long as they're making a progress in it. But if they're not making progress in it, you know they're not listening. They're just trying to dump on you. And they try, you know, we call it energy vampires. We call it, you know, all sorts of things.
But we call them all sorts of words.
But it's everyone calls them, but it's your fault, you know. Energy vampires, you know, I love them when I identify them, because all of our energy comes from source. It all comes through the crown chakra from oneness. It's all one source of energy for all of us. And it is completely, insanely unlimited. There's just so much. All you got to do is open up, you know, just tell your crown chakra to open up more when it comes through. So when people are draining energy off you guys, this applies to everyone here, energy vampires, just go quiet and just let them pull for you. Let them suck for a few seconds, and then internally just say, okay, now open the faucet up and let it come through and turn it up. So they're trying to pull 200 watts of energy, give them 200,000 watts. Just let it come straight through from the crown out of the heart. So give them literally, so whatever energy they're trying to pull from you, just say, give them 1,000 times more than that, or 100 times if 1,000 is too much, but something that's a really big number for you. So some people need to say 1,000 times more. Some people need to say 10 times more. Some people need to say 100 times more. It's got to be genuine. You've got to feel that. So I just say, turn the energy up by 1,000-fold and send it to them, and do it. You know, you can do it in the bars. You can do it with silent. There's a lot of silent energy vampires. The ones across the room, they'll just sit there and they just keep looking at you, and you get this fucking stop looking at me energy. And it's like, you know, just they're pulling energy from you too. Just let them pull for a second. Just feel it. Just hold it there, and then just say, okay, crown, open up, universe. Send the energy through 10,000-fold, and then just send them 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times more than they're pulling, and they will shut off. I've had to literally turn around and run away. It's fun.
That's not just your height, man.
No, I can do it without looking at them. I did it with a bunch of guys at the pub one day. I said, you know, this older lady was doing it, and they're going, oh, I wish she'd go away. She was just sitting there. I said, look, I showed them. I said, I won't even look. I'll just be talking to you. I told them what I was going to do, and she was out of, she couldn't hear us. She was a couple of tables over. And I said, I'll let her keep pulling, and they're feeling it. They go, no, I wish she'd stop looking. And I said, when I give you the thumbs up, and she couldn't see my thumb because she was behind me. I said, I'll give you the thumbs up when I turn it up, and she can't see me, but I'm just going to pull the energy in. I'm going to send her 1,000 times more than what she's asking for. And then I just let it go for a while, and I did the thumbs up, and I just closed my eyes, and I just fucking imagined 1,000 times more energy going towards her, and she cut off straight away, and she walked away, and she was sitting there for 15, 20 minutes doing it. And as soon as I did it, they just looked at me going, oh my God. And it's like, this is why I don't worry about energy vampires, because if you get the energy from the universe directly, they can't steal it because it's not yours, and it's unlimited. It's only when we open our energy up and close our energy off, open it up, we open and close our crown chakra. That's when our cup fills and it empties, and it fills and it empties. If you learn to open the crown chakra and tell it to stay open fully and let it keep going through, then you can't stop. It's just unlimited.
Yeah.
And then you can learn how to direct it and where to send it and stuff like that, and really play with it.
Janine's asking, she says, I guess we do personal and private readings. We do personal and private readings.
Yes, we do them on Zoom. I do them face to face. If you're in Melbourne, we're about to open the shop in Prahran in a couple of weeks. And so, yes, we do readings on Zoom, over the phone, and so we do the 2-on-1, where we do the both of us, if you really want to get slammed with your filters and stuff like that. So otherwise, I can do the 1-on-ones a little bit cheaper, where I just do it with me, and we can do distant healings with the readings. I can do entity clearings. All of that stuff is involved in the readings. But the fun ones are really finding your filters, working with you, catching the wording or finding your filters and just changing one or two of those. We've had such dramatic effect on people. It's really quite fun, and it's quite easy. We've got the samples on
YouTube, on the website. I dropped a link to the website. So
we've got samples on there. We've got some samples.
Jump on there and have a look.
In our Bequest Wellbeing Facebook page as well. So you'll see some of the other readings we've done. If you guys, anyone wants to get a reading. Okay. So
we've got look for guidance. Shri, looking for guidance. My children, 15 years, 22 years. Father recently passed away unexpectedly. Their father and I have been separated for several years. Lots of stuff coming up for me while trying to support my children grieving.
Yeah. Look, again, Shri, sorry. That's a huge one. I mean, I've got 6 children myself, but the problem is you've got children, but they're not children either. So they're adults. So it's a tough one. Like the 22-year-old, especially the 15-year-old, a little bit less. But you got to how do you find that fine line between being a parent and being a spiritual equal with them? It's a little bit of a tough one, and especially if you've been separated from the father for a long time. It's really tough. It's not something that I would ask anyone for any guidance on a thing like this in a 10-minute, 5-minute thing. It's something you really need to talk through with somebody. I've been doing this stuff for over 20 years. I've got 6 children. I've been through a lot of different deaths and stuff with different parents and relatives and all sorts of stuff like that. And I still need to talk to people occasionally when it comes to this sort of stuff. It's something you really need to talk out a little bit more because you're in a tough spot, supporting them. But the main support is tell them you want to, but you don't know how. Yeah. The main part is that. Just tell them, look, because I split up with your father and I've got issues that it's not anything to do with you guys. I really want to help you with this, but I don't know how because I haven't really resolved my issues with splitting up with your dad. Just knowing that you want to and not needing to do it is the biggest thing for your kids. Just tell them that you want to, but you don't know how. And that's going to be a massive relief for them to say, look, I really, but because I split up with your father and I don't know how to do it. I'm dealing with the family from my side, but I want to, but because of the situation.
And if you do find yourself in, getting into details and conversations, what's coming through is there might be some things that you share with the 22-year-old that you might not share with the 15-year-old. Yeah. Because the 22-year-old might be a little bit older and more mature or whatever to be able to, help talk the issues out a little bit further down, but don't feel as though you need to share everything with the two of them.
So you need to tell your children the truth all the time. I say tell children the truth. Don't do what I did when I first started this when the kids were young. Don't tell them the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please, don't give a 5-year-old fucking shit that a 30-year-old can't deal with. That was my mistake. Sorry, kids. My oldest 3, I really apologise for that. That was, but it was my learning how to start telling the truth more. But but you tell them the truth. Say, look, I'll tell you the details of that later when you're older. So that way, because they feel if you're holding it back, they feel if there's stuff that that went on that they ask you about, say, look, I will tell you when I feel like you're the right age. And I'll tell you all the details, but I'm not ready to tell you now. Yeah. That way they'll be settled with that and they're happy with that. It's just, and so that way you tell them the truth, but you also tell them that you don't want to tell them the truth right now or the whole truth. I'll tell you the details of it when I think you're old enough. After you've had your kids and you've split up, then I'll tell you. It's like, it's a tough one. And but the biggest part is just telling them you want to and you don't know how, or you don't know how because, you're separated from the father. So, but just them knowing that you want to do it is massive. Yeah, massive. All right. So any more? Well, we're nearly up on time. Yeah. So we're opening our new shop. We are in Prahran in about 4 weeks on 15th of December. So we'll be running our classes from there at first, the smaller groups, the meditation classes and the healing groups. And starting to train the tools there. We're going to have all our crystals and our, our fun little
Bits
toys,
and pieces.
all our hippie stuff, and our magic
crazy,
soap and our magic
whack hippie shit.
all our magic remedies and stuff like that as well, and essential oils and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be having that for any of you Melbourne people.
Yeah.
Running classes in Prahran as well. So as the classes grow beyond 5 or 10, then we'll take it to a larger venue, but it'll be close to the same area. Yep. So yes, anyone in Melbourne, that'd be great. Go online, guys. Check out our website. Check out our videos. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook, and they're on our bequest.me site.
If you want to know where to start with some of the tools, tool number 1, check in with your guru. We spoke a lot about it earlier. If it's light, it's right. If it's heavy, it's a lie.
Yep.
That's where it all began for me.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of this journey almost 2 years ago.
Energy healing, distant healing. We're going to be running classes on them as well, because that's my real passion. That's what I love. That's the one that I have the most fun with. It's like for me, it's like modeling clay, so and you can do it distantly and stuff like that. So we're going to be teaching all of that in the new venue as well. We will eventually get those classes online as well. But yeah, check it out.
Alrighty.
If you want readings, we do dual readings or solo readings on
Either
Zoom or face to face. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you next Monday.
See you later.
Bye.